Oh, hello there. How's it going? It's your boy Kanji FPL, and welcome back to the channel. And I am so excited for this game week review because last game week I went from the 750k mark to the 450k mark. That is a 300k green arrow, and I really deserved it. It's been a lot of punishment from walk-ins and Arsenal defense, and the best part about going into game week 29 is that Arsenal defense can't punish me because Arsenal don't play. So it's going to be really fun going into game week 29 on my free hits. So we'll walk through my game week 28 team as well as my free hit 29 team that I'm going to be locking in. So let's jump right into the analysis. I know I'm a little bit late, but game week 28 was amazing. I had a wonderful week, a massive green arrow, and it's all thanks to just being well prepared. I think one of my favorite differentials in the game, Antoine Semenyo, I wildcarded for him 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he absolutely smashed it. Last week, he had points on my bench, and I was so disappointed, but this week, he didn't disappoint. He got 2 goals in the double game week, and in fact, I was considering, whether I should play Phil Foden over him. I know Phil Foden was playing at Anfield, and you know what? Liverpool's defense, they're like a top 5 defense, but they're still pretty leaky. They're still leaking around 1.5 XG per match. It was a tough decision. Like, Phil Foden's been in such great form. He gets 6 shots every single game. He's been averaging on the season 5.5 points per match, but I took the risk. I was like, you know what? I have Anton Semenyo here. Like, I wildcarded for him. There's no way I can bench him, and he repaid me, man. From zero to hero. Just like that. Thank you, Semenyo, for being my game week hero, and I'll never forget this haul. You saved my season, bro. So shout out to Semenyo. Let's start with the goalkeeper and move our way up. So Kaminsky with 4 points in the double game week, that's solid. I mean, I would have wanted more. I expect at least 6 points, especially because he put up so many saves, but Luton concedes so many goals that he ends up getting these minus points as well on top of his appearance points that kind of cancel off. So 4 points for my keeper. It is what it is. And it's a similar story with Alfie Doughty. It's because, the problem with Luton defenders is that they play for Luton. And like Luton concede too many goals. The thing with Doughty is that he kind of is on the left wing and he's so creative. He put in so many dangerous crosses into the box. And finally, he got that assist so I could celebrate. Finally, I've got Alfie Doughty points because I've been waiting for these for the last couple weeks. Finally, he delivered. So thank you for that, bro. Unfortunately, my game week could have been even better. That sounds like such a luxurious thing to say, especially having a 300k green arrow. However, my game week rank is around the 22,000 this week. So I absolutely smashed this week, but it could have been even better because I had Estupiñán in my starting lineup who actually started and got a clean sheet, but I took a -4 to get rid of him and I got Gusto. That is a 5-point swing on top of the -4. That's a 9-point swing. So I could have done even better, but while I was 100% going to be taking a hit to bring Gusto in, I just think I timed it wrong and I would have been much better taking that hit in game week 30. But it is what it is. You win some and you lose some. Moving on to Zabani, I actually brought Zabani in this week. He was one of my free transfers doing Senesi to Zabani, and listen, I'll live with it. Like, I can't believe that he got that goal. Like, when Zabani got that goal, I was like, man, this is FPL heritage. Like, a guy that hasn't scored a goal all season. I think he has 3 goals in his entire career, and he goes out there in a double game week where he's one of the most popular transfers in this week, and he scores. That's just classic FPL. So that really made me smile. Moving on to my midfield, I've got Cole Palmer. Man, he is actually cold. Like, we live in a cold world because, Cole Palmer is just different. Especially at the price of 5.7 in FPL, he is easily the best budget enabler in FPL. If you don't have Cole Palmer in your team, what are you doing? Like, you should make sure you have a plan to bring him in, especially for game week 30. I know he blanks in 29, so a lot of people would have sold him, but especially given the fact that he has 2 double game weeks and he's just playing so great. The way that he plays with Malo Gusto on the right wing, creating the space for him to cut in, it's like Cole Palmer is just playing on a different level. I haven't even heard of this guy last year. I didn't even know who he was. And I think the move that he made, moving from Man City's B team to become part of Chelsea's starting 11, probably one of the best moves he's made for his career. I think he also got an England call-up this weekend as well. So his name's going to be put on the map just because he's such an analytical darling. Plays on the right wing, on the penalties for a solid attacking team. I mean, what's not to like? You know what else is something I like this week? Heung-min Son. You don't need to have a double game week to get a haul. Because if you look at Cole Palmer's points and Heung-min Son's points, these guys delivered big time. I think there's just certain players in the league that you can trust, and Son is just so consistent. A previous Golden Boot winner. He's one of my favorite players to own in FPL because he's on the penalties, and right now he's currently playing in the striker position for Spurs. It's no surprise that he hauled against Aston Villa, but shout out to John McGinn who got the red card, who made it easier for Heung-min Son to haul, and it's a little bit bittersweet to see him haul because he was my textbook captain for this week before the double game week was announced. But it is what it is. You can't win them all. I'm just really happy that his effective ownership was low enough where I was able to enjoy the value of the haul that he brought to me because not that many people own him. In fact, one of my favorite things about this Heung-min Son haul is the fact that the person that's first in my mini league doesn't even own him. So I was actually able to enjoy his points because I felt like the guy that's in first in my mini league just owns everyone every single time there's a haul. But this is the first time where he's kind of slipped up. And so I'm really glad because he was ahead of me by around 50 points. So I was able to cut that gap pretty much in half just by owning Heung-min Son as well as the other differentials that I had this week. So it was a wonderful week, not only from an overall rank perspective, but especially from my mini league perspective, which is what I care the most about. So happy that Son and Palmer were the ones to help me cut the gap between me and my mini league leader. And of course, it's those two who are on the pens, my favorite FPL picks. I've been talking about them every single week. I don't think they're ever going to leave my FPL team. Moving on to Bukayo Saka and Odegaard, two of my favorite FPL players right now. Odegaard's my favorite differential to own because I just think Arsenal have been going out there and scoring goals in every single fixture. They scored 6 goals twice, except against Porto where they kind of bottled it, but they came back in the second leg and won, so shout out to them. Arsenal have been so consistent. Recently, they've just taken it up a level, and Odegaard is the captain of the team. If you watch that Porto match, Odegaard felt like their best player. So I'm happy to have Odegaard in my team, though unfortunately, he might have to make way very soon. But I just think in this fixture against Brentford, the way that Brentford set up tactically, it kind of stifled Arsenal's attack, where they weren't allowing Saka to be the main creative hub for the team. And he kind of was getting doubled up all the time, and it was on Odegaard and on the rest of the players like Declan Rice, Jorginho, and Trossard to just pick the lock and try to find a way to score goals. And they did score some goals, but they weren't smashing teams like other teams have been smashed by Arsenal. So I just think Brentford had a very smart tactical setup. And if Thomas Frank is the manager for Brentford next season, that could be something to keep in mind in terms of maybe not being too worried about Saka's effective ownership if he's playing against Brentford. But otherwise, I think it was a really good fixture for Arsenal, and I'm just feel a little bit unfortunate to have not got a single return from Odegaard or Saka, especially with how consistent they've been. And there's so many chances that Odegaard created. He couldn't have even scored a goal in this fixture, but it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad and move on. Antoine Semenyo, that was my game week hero. I love you so much, my bro. And you know what? Like when you get a haul like this from a player that most people don't even know or don't even own, it's crazy. Like he is going to go down as one of my favorite players this season, and he kept my season alive. So thank you so much. And I hope this is just the first of many, because there's going to be another double game week later on in the season where I'm going to be calling upon you, Antoine Semenyo. I know you won't be able to deliver 15 points, but even just one return and just appearance points in the second match, that would be huge. So shout out to you, Antoine. I really appreciate it, my guy. Now we've got the big man, Erling Haaland. And I was surprised, when this game week started, I just checked the effective ownership of Solanke and Erling Haaland. Solanke was under 200% and Haaland was under 100%. So I could actually enjoy the points when they arrived. But unfortunately with Haaland, they just never came through. Virgil van Dijk pretty much locked him up all game. Van Dijk is just so good. Easily the best defender in the league, and Haaland just couldn't really get any joy. I think he had one chance on the counterattack, but he pretty much didn't really have a sight apart from that moment. And even in that moment, it was kind of a shot that was from far out and it was just straight at the keeper. So for those of you that did make the move of doing Haaland out to Morris, you won. Even if it was a -4, because you still have one more fixture left to play. But for me, I don't have my wild card to bail me out. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be keeping Haaland in my team, even if he continues to blank, because at least I own him. And I think maybe if I want to be risky, I might look to just not captain him in future weeks, but let's see if his form improves, because it is Erling Haaland and he is faster and stronger than pretty much every other player in the league. The main hero of this game week was actually Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke. Thank God he didn't blank, man. He would have gone down in FPL folklore as the biggest meme, joining the likes of Dennis with blanking in a double game week with 2 easy fixtures. But thankfully, Dom returned. And you know what? I love the man so much. I'm so glad he got that return. In the first match, he had the penalty. He could have scored it, but he slipped. And I think for those of you that triple captained him, and I was on the verge of that too, you're just so unlucky. The fact that he put up 0 points in the first match, and the goal that he scored in the second match against Luton, That was a world-class goal. The way that he just received the ball with his back to the defenders, he turns them, he like slips it through his own legs, turns around, shoots it bottom corner. I was like, wow. Like, damn, I wasn't familiar with your game, Dom. So like mad respect to him for that goal, because that goal came out of nothing. But apart from that, he didn't really have too many chances, but it was just the fact that he had two easy fixtures. The thing with Solanke is that if he had just scored the penalty in the first fixture, he would have outscored what Holland got in his double game week. So for those of you that triple captained Solanke, you just got unlucky. And it's just so unfortunate. And I say this with tongue in cheek, where I'm just grateful that I saved my triple captain for later on in the season, but this did feel like the best textbook use of the triple captain. So at least you guys got some points from Dominic Solanke. And in fact, his ownership at my rank was around 130%. So I was waiting for Dom to score. I'm like cheering for a goal. Like I gained 70% of the points when he scored. So when he scored, I was happy too. Even in the top 100K, I think his effective ownership was around 180%. So either way, like a goal was always going to be a good thing. So he finally got one, and I'm happy about that. And I'm really just happy that I got my benching decision right. So game week 28 was almost perfect. Apart from that Estupinian move, it's fine. You can't win them all, but in general, that was one of the best game weeks of my entire season. So really happy to have had that, especially after the darkness and depression that I've been feeling after 6 or 7 red arrows after my wild card. So thank you so much for saving my season, and let's move on to my game week 28 team. All right, guys, this is just a gentle reminder. Like, listen, my channel is so small. I only have like 100 plus subscribers. So if I'm providing some value to you over the course of this video, please just drop like click the like button, just hit the subscribe, or even comment on the video. I'd love to interact with people and build a community here on YouTube. I also have Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, called X, you can follow me at Kanji FPL. But without further ado, let's go into my game week 29 free hit team that I'm locking in. It is free hit season, baby. Let's go. There's kind of two ways to use your free hit. You either use it in a double game week to be aggressive, where you can kind of get hurt by singlers, or you can use it in a blank week to be protective, to make sure that you're guaranteed a green arrow and then you don't have to worry about the blank. And this was the strategy that kind of suited my team the best, especially given the fact that I have Semenyo as one of my 8th attackers. So I knew for sure I needed to protect my team in this week. So happy to use the free hit. I only had 2 or 3 players playing, so a very obvious decision for me. In fact, I just released a video earlier this week about the free hit team that I was going to select, and nothing has really changed. There's no news. I think instead of going for Udogi, I would go for Pedro Porro because he has a stronger XGI per 90 and he's fit now. So that's also a no-brainer in my mind. There was some news that came out during the week. Apparently, Ollie Watkins has picked up an injury during the Europa Conference League game. Now, if he's ruled out for the weekend, because I know he scored in the game and also got subbed early after 25 minutes, so it's probably an actual injury. But if he is forced to miss this week, I will likely just replace him with Johan Wissa from Burnley, and I would just start Carlton Morris, just given the fact that he is on the penalties. But wow, that's going to be a big blow for a lot of people that were expecting him to play, especially for those of you that are on non-free hit drafts. That'll hurt. I really want Alenga, so I'm hoping that he starts. But if not, I may actually start either Paqueta or Carlton Morris. Stay tuned on Twitter to find out what team I end up locking in. But either way, I don't really think there are very many clean sheets this week. That's why I went for Doughty, Reguilon, and Pedro Porro, who all have attacking threat. So it was just about that Gibbs White position. And I just think about Luton, and I just want to be attacking their defense. They don't have a good defense, and I'm saying that with somebody that has 2 Luton defenders in my actual FPL team, so maybe that's a little bit hypocritical, but I just think Gibbs White, given the fact that I think he's on penalties for Nottingham Forest, one of my favorite players to just watch play, so he's definitely on my free hit, and Alenga, he's going to be attacking the space that Doughty moves into when he's going to be attacking. So I just think Alenga as a right wing for Nottingham Forest is another great differential, I think, for this week. So I'm really excited about Game Week 29, but let's move on to my Game Week 30 team and what are the implications of using my free hit this week. So by using my free hit in Game Week 29, I'm going into Game Week 30 with this team. My bus captain is on Heung-min Son. Now, do you know which team has these fixtures from Game Week 30 to 38? Can you guess? Well, if you didn't guess Mo Salah, you were wrong. But if you did, shout out to you, because this is the fixtures for the Egyptian King. And honestly, he's 100% coming to my Game Week 30 team. I have to see how he does in Europa League. I know he's starting this match. And on top of that, there's another match against Manchester United again in the FA Cup. So I want to see if he actually is going to start that game. I'm wondering to see how his fitness is like. Does he play 60 minutes in Europa League or the FA Cup? I got to keep that in mind. If you are considering going without Mo Salah for the end of season run, let me just tell you this. Within 15 minutes, of playing his first full debut for Liverpool. Again, coming back from injury, he started against Sparta Prague and he got 1 goal and 2 assists in 15 minutes, bro. The Egyptian King is built different. In fact, I want to find out if Liverpool are going to have their double game week in 34 or 37, but either way, regardless of what happens, I'm still going to be bringing in Mo Salah. I mean, you could look at these fixtures. There's so many goals that are going to happen. Liverpool are the best attacking team in all of Europe. We scored the most goals in all of Europe. We have the most XG per 90 for any team in the league. So it's very obvious to bring Mo Salah back in if you have the money to do so. And I just think about Brighton. That's 3 goals for Liverpool at home. Sheffield is 3 goals for Liverpool. Mo Salah owns Man United. But I know that this season Man United have been more tactically disciplined. And at home, Liverpool didn't even score a single goal against them. But I just think the fact that United are at home, they're going to have the onus to play out, and I think Liverpool will smash them on the counter if that's how they decide to play. But if not, I still think that that's a good, solid fixture. Maybe not as explosive as in the past, but it's still a good fixture. Crystal Palace at home, wonderful. And that's another 3 goals for Liverpool. Fulham is another 3 goals for Liverpool. That Wolves fixture in 38 is another 3 goals for Liverpool. And maybe that Everton fixture could be slightly tricky, but I expect Liverpool to score at least 2 goals and still win that match. I think the most difficult fixtures for Liverpool are going to be from 35, 36, and 37, where if we don't score enough goals, we may not win those matches, and that'll be the reason why we don't win the league. But in pretty much every other fixture, Mo Salah is a genuine captaincy contender. In fact, for those of us that are trying to climb the ranks and look for differentials, Mo Salah as a captaincy option could be huge because he can put up a 16-point haul in any match. Like, it's the king. He's the man that we've trusted with the armband for the last 3 or 4 years consistently. When in doubt, go with Mo Salah. So Mo Salah is definitely coming back into my squad, and I hope that was a really good pitch to convince you guys to make sure you take some hits to bring him in, because he's worth every single hit that's going to cost you, because I think you never know what he could do in Brighton and Sheffield. These could be huge matches. I don't care who you have to sell to bring him in. I would definitely do it. Now, the thing is, for me, I have 5.3 in the bank. I've been planning to bring Mo Salah in without a shadow of a doubt. Brighton and Sheffield at home, he's coming back. The question is, who do I sell? The only 2 options are going to be Martin Odegaard or Phil Foden. Now, it's a pretty difficult decision. It's kind of a 50-50, but I'm leaning more so towards selling Odegaard, and I'll tell you why. There's a couple reasons. The first is that Phil Foden is cheaper than Martin Odegaard. The second is, if I had to back a team to win the Premier League, and if it's not Liverpool, I would back Man City. And thirdly, this fixture that they're going to have in Game Week 30, Man City are at home. So I would just back Man City to score more goals in this fixture specifically. And also longer term, I just think that Foden is more direct. And I know Odegaard has just been killing it recently, and I wish I could just own both of them. But realistically, because Foden is cheaper, I think he can match what Odegaard is going to do in terms of output. In fact, I think Foden will score more points than Odegaard will over the course of the season, just because I trust Man City to always win the league. Like, I've just been burnt by them as a Liverpool fan, season in and season out. It's just like, even when you think you're that close and your team is playing so well, you think you're going to win the league, Man City come out of nowhere and find a way to get the job done. I'll never forget that game on the last day of the season where they were down 2-0 and they still won the game 4-2 against Aston Villa. Unbelievable. I'll always got to back Man City to win the league. And I think in this position, I have to sell Martin Odegaard to get to Phil Foden. And it also gives me extra money to redistribute elsewhere. However, the caveat to all of this, as much as I do want to sell Odegaard, if we get news that Arsenal are going to have a double game week in 34, then I would 100% sell Phil Foden, because I just trust having more fixtures. So let's see how things play out. There's a lot of news that has to come out after the Game Week 29 free hit, as well as the FA Cup matches, where we'll sort of have a picture about how Game Week 37 and Game Week 34 are going to look like from a doubles perspective. So that'll be what is the tipping factor in terms of me selling Odegaard or Foden. But either way, Mo Salah is coming right back into my team very soon. If you got to this point in the video and you're still listening to it, shout out to you. You're a real one. Thank you so much for all your support, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. If I provided some value to you over the course of this video, please just drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all again soon. Peace.